This is an ad by BetterHelp. BetterHelp recently surveyed over 16,000 people and found that while 75% of people believe it's wise to seek support, only 27% of Americans are in therapy, and people stay silent to avoid being judged. BetterHelp has over 10 years of experience matching you with the right therapist. Because we're all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/stopthestigma for their first ever State of Stigma report, the latest in mental health research.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Wellness Coach on Blog Talk Radio. I'm your host, Edie Summers, and I almost can't stop laughing already. I'm really excited and honored for our very special guest today, JP Sears. JP Sears is an emotional healing coach, international teacher, world traveler, and curious student of life. His work empowers people to live more meaningful lives. JP presents classes, workshops, online seminars, and leads retreats at numerous locations around the world on inner healing and growth. He is also very active on his YouTube channel, Awaken with JP, where he encourages healing and growth through his entertainingly informative and inspiring videos. And I can tell you they are on both accounts, that is very accurate. The purpose of JP's work is to empower people to live more meaningful lives as whole individuals by guiding them to move beyond their symptoms of pain and sabotage so they may discover and reconcile their inner imbalances. JP Sears presents classes and workshops at numerous locations, nationally and internationally, on a regular basis. And while teaching and coaching, JP is highly acclaimed for his heartfelt, dynamic, and entertaining style of delivery, which I think you're going to get a taste of today. JP runs his private practice in Charleston, South Carolina, where he specializes in emotional healing. As I mentioned, JP also served as a faculty member for the CHEK Institute, that's CHEK, from 2006 to 2013. JP holds certification as a holistic coach advanced practitioner through the Holistic Coaching Institute in Columbus, Ohio. JP is one of our featured experts on smashon.com, which is your local health and fitness community. It's free to join. We may or may not get into SmashOn, but just wanted to let you know that he's one of our featured experts, which I'm super excited about. And I also have to tell you that I really love JP's approach in helping people to heal. His videos can be quite funny. If you haven't checked them out yet, I highly encourage it. And they're laugh out loud funny. But also his message is very deep, and his healing techniques are profoundly effective. I found his work to be extremely helpful for myself, and I have learned to laugh. And you can kind of learn and laugh at the same time while you're watching his videos, which I think is a really unique combination. Very, very. That's what makes JP, I think, so special. So you can learn more about JP and his work at innerawakeningsonline.com. That's innerawakeningsonline.com, as well as on YouTube. The address is youtube.com/awaken with JP. So I'm going to welcome JP into the studio here. And JP, I know that you're in the studio because we just spoke. How are you doing today?
Well, hey, Edie, I'm doing really well, and I'm doing better after listening to that bio where you made me sound really cool and like I know what I'm doing. So I actually have higher self-esteem now.
Well, I only said what was true, and JP, I have to tell you, like, your videos are hysterical, but you are a really great coach as well. And you're actually one of my favorite coaches on the planet. And I know a lot of coaches at this point. And that's not to knock anyone else down, but just you are very good at what you do. And I'm wondering if, how did you come to this place where you wanted to be a coach? And I also think what you specialize in is particularly relevant. I was just wondering if you could give us a little more of your backstory.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Well, I think I'm like the rest of us, where we tend to want to offer other people what we need the most. And we, like the old saying goes, we teach what we need to learn the most. So I think my desire to be a coach and help people dive into their hearts and heal their unresolved wounds that are seemingly controlling their life, it was fueled by my need to do that for myself. And as I got into my inner healing journey in my late teens and early 20s, there just seemed to be a natural spillover to want to work with outside people. And what I found, even to this day, many years later, every single person I work with in my one-on-one client practice and workshop, retreat participants, each one of these people, they're allowing me to have a deeper and more enriched healing and growth experience with myself, where everybody shows up and they teach me something about me. And if I'm halfway alert, all I have to do is say, okay, what's my version of what this client has? So I feel very just beyond elated to be able to make a living where I'm continuing to grow and heal myself while I, maybe we could say, help others to help themselves.
And your style is so unique, and it's very specific, I think, because I think it's really challenging. I mean, it's one thing anyone can throw on a hat and say they're a coach, but I think it takes real talent and skills to be able to actually help people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's to be able to speak someone else's language and be able to reach someone else. I think that you're really good at this. Like, I mean, yes, you use humor, which is amazing, but you also, I think, I don't know if it's how you talk about someone's subconscious mind, or I'm not sure exactly what it is, but you have this way of getting right to the heart of where someone is stuck. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that's a conscious thing on your end or not, but I think it's really effective. And I'm wondering, is that something you developed, or?
Well, it's a good question. First, thank you for the lovely compliment in your words, Edie. They mean a lot to me.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I believe we all inherently have a tremendous thirst to know what we don't know about ourselves. And when I'm working with clients, or any other human being who is connected to another human being, what we're essentially doing, from my point of view, is we're meeting that person where they're at. And I think what really gets somebody engaged with a coach or whoever it is when that person can say things to them that causes them to pay attention to themselves in ways that they normally don't. So one of the things that I personally really value is I love to listen to what people say, and I love to hear what they don't say. And a lot of what I'm doing in my client practices, I share with people what I heard them say, and mostly what I heard them not say. So I think we all express a lot of knowledge with our words, yet I think we express wisdom with our unspoken words. So a lot of people know how to talk about the symptoms that are kind of uncomfortable, what's going wrong in my life. So we know how to talk about the symptoms. Yet I think in our unspoken word is where we reveal the wisdom of what our root causes are, what's causing my symptoms. Consciously, we usually don't know how to talk about that, or else we know about it and we do something about it. So I think if we can all do this with our own self, listen to what we say, but pay attention to what we don't say, we'll be dwelling less on the symptoms of our life, and we'll be dancing more with the heart of the issues that are going on inside of us. At least that's my opinion.
Mm. Oh, I love how you say the heart of the issues, too. And then when you focus on what someone doesn't say, are you talking about their body language, or is it like a sixth sense, like kind of picking up just like on what maybe they're feeling on the heart level? Or I'm just curious what you mean by that, like the unspoken words.
Yeah, well, a lot of it actually doesn't have to do with body language. 95% of my client practice is done via Skype or telephone, so I don't really actually have a body there. Yet there's a gift we all have. Einstein called it the sacred gift. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and our rational mind is a faithful servant. And our servant has a very limited education. So our rational mind, I think it's good. I'm glad I sort of have one at least. Yet our intuitive mind is such a gift. And for me, that's where we hear, see, and feel what a person doesn't know how to say. Yet energetically, they're saying it. They don't know how to listen to it. And most other people don't, unless there's a very intentional, conscious, intimate connection made. And sometimes it takes a more literal realm where maybe I'm talking about someone's childhood with them, and I'm hearing them talk about, well, my father left when I was 5, and he was an alcoholic, and he was just a bad person. And I really actually start paying attention to how much they're not talking about their mother.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. BetterHelp recently surveyed over 16,000 people and found that while 75% of people believe it's wise to seek support, only 27% of Americans are in therapy, and people stay silent to avoid being judged. BetterHelp has over 10 years of experience matching you with the right therapist, because we're all better with help. Visit BetterHelp.com/StopTheStigma for their first ever State of Stigma report, the latest in mental health research.
So I might ask, well,
very interesting.
Yeah, so I'll ask them, what if you found out the reason why you're so fixated on the pain having to do with your father leaving is because that's actually a more tolerable level of pain than realizing how helpless and overwhelmed you felt sitting there with your mother, who now had no one to take care of her but you. So, but to answer your question, there are a couple ways it might play out as far as hearing the unspoken words that the wisdom of our heart is always expressing.
I think that's really beautiful, and I think that is when people heal, is when they are able to get in touch with what's going on the heart level with themselves, which is why I was so intrigued when you describe yourself as an emotional healing coach, because I haven't really heard that term too much before. So that really struck a chord with me, because I think that it's when we don't express our emotions, perhaps, that's a big part of why we don't heal. We kind of get stuck in the cycle of not being honest with ourselves and not allowing ourselves to feel whatever it is that we need to feel. And then, so that's what I find really useful in your work and in your videos and in your writing is giving people maybe permission to go there and explore what's going on underneath the surface. Instead of talking about what's bothering them, is really allowing themselves to feel it. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's just sort of what I got from the phrase emotional healing.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if it's accurate or not, but it sure makes a really cool sounding story. And I agree. I find it actually surprising, amusing, and scary all at the same time how most of us, including myself, routinely don't give ourselves permission to express one of our most fundamental natures, which is our emotions. Most people one of their greatest fears is realizing that they're a human being too. And human beings have emotions. And we have the full spectrum of emotions: happiness, joy, sadness, shame, anger, guilt, grief, fear, jealousy, and all of that. And somehow the design team made us in a way where we can feel all those and circulate all those feelings that Carl Jung would call the language of our soul, our feelings. Yet when we don't allow ourselves to be an emotional human being, we have the illusion that our emotions go away. Well, I don't feel fear, so that means I'm not afraid. Because, in my childhood, I was taught to be afraid of being afraid because I got scolded when I got scared, or God forbid I got angry, and Mom and Dad would get twice as angry at me. So that taught me real quick I should be afraid of my anger. Therefore, instead of letting a healthy level of anger circulate, be felt, and be expressed in a safe and appropriate way, I reactively, unconsciously strangulate my emotions. So instead of this energy that should be in motion, being in motion, it becomes stuck and constipated. And then, from my experience, what we don't know about ourselves will control us far more than what we do know about ourselves. So my emotional wounding that's stuck, constipated inside of me, it's frozen energy. It's there. I just don't feel it because it's not circulating. It's controlling my life, more so my avoidance of that emotion that I carry inside my body and heart. That controls my life. Yet we all know, I'll become a 10-year-old boy here for a second, get a little graphic. Okay. We all know in order to be healthy, feel good, and a functional person, we have to have bowel movement. I mean, if I said, Edie, I actually
I knew you might go there. I was wondering.
Well, you're psychic, yeah, or I'm just too predictable, or both. But
no, not at all.
Edie, I haven't had a bowel movement for 10 years. I mean, you would be very alarmed. But if I said, Edie,
I would be.
If I said I haven't cried for 10 years, we said, well, okay, that's fine. Yet I would dare say it's far more hurtful on our health. It's far more toxic, if you will, for us not to have regular emotional bowel movements.
Oh my goodness, I feel like you just coined like a new, I feel like you should trademark that or something. I don't know, just a thought.
Or did you? I love that.
Is it in your video? I know you sent me that new video where you're actually talking about, I forget what the title is, but you're talking about fear. Right? Like how we need to have the courage to be afraid instead of being afraid of fear. That's a paraphrase, but I love that.
Yeah.
I think, and also what you were saying, I think was so profound, talking about how it's the things that we don't know about ourselves that control our lives. JP, that is brilliant. And I think that is where we get stuck. And it's not for lack of trying. It's not that people, including myself, aren't trying to change our lives. It's that we don't know how because we don't know ourselves well enough to do so. And that's why we need other people, including coaches, right? That's why coaching is so powerful, in my experience, because you serve as a mirror for the other person, kind of like what we were talking about earlier. But I was wondering if you could expand on beyond emotional bowel movement, which I love. I think that's hysterical. What about this notion of the courage to be afraid? Isn't that the phrase that you have in one of your newest videos that's out?
Yeah, it sounds pretty familiar to me. For me, if you picture sort of the archetypal warrior, a warrior that comes to your mind, most of us would picture this fearless figure. I'm not afraid of anything. And I would dare say that's not the true warrior. That is actually a warrior who is controlled by fear. They are the facade of a warrior. And I think archetype of the warrior. It's an energy we all have in our life. It's an energy that to be a healthy, self-realizing, growing person, we need to figure out how can I bring the warrior energy into my life. So for me, the true warrior is the one who knows how to get scared, rather than being the facade of the warrior who appears fearless, yet they're afraid to be afraid. So it gives them the facade of being fearless. Anytime we have an emotional charge about an emotional charge, it appears as though we don't have that emotion. I'm afraid of my fear, which basically means I can't access my fear because I'm afraid.
Right, you're like removed. Right, you're removed from your fear instead of just feeling it.
Absolutely, and I personally believe the greatest superpower that any of us have is the vulnerability of our human heart. You know, when we look at the archetypal expression of, say, Superman, Superman for me is a wonderful sort of mythological story to learn from. The seduction of Superman, according to weirdo JP here, is it appears so Superman's greatest power is his invincibility, his strength. Yet I would dare say his greatest power is what he believes is his weakness. Whenever he gets close to kryptonite, it seems like Superman gets weaker. Yet I would dare say kryptonite perhaps is a symbolic representation of the world from which he came, the world that got destroyed, the world of losing his parents. So he becomes vulnerable. He feels his heart. He appears to be getting weaker in the presence of the kryptonite, which magnifies the vulnerability of his heart. Yet I would dare say that's actually Superman going beyond the immature appearance of strength that's been engineered to try and deny the god-awful pain that he carries in his heart. So this gift, the superhero gift that we all carry, our emotions, the vulnerabilities of our heart, and I realize self-growth, self-healing, self-realization, spiritual growth, kind of whatever our favorite term of the moment is, there's so many dimensions to it. I don't want to oversimplify an infinite concept. And I think infinity is always bigger than we think it is. Yet a small, tangible reality that so many of us bypass and rob ourselves of so much of the gift of our own self is we bypass our emotions. And the thing is, the reason why we bypass our emotions is when something feels uncomfortable, we reactively think it's bad for us. Yet, and that's sort of what I would call an emotionally immature mentality where a lot of us in the first half of our life were reacting away from our pain without realizing our emotional pain, it's generated from our heart. So when we're reacting away from our pain, trying not to feel what's uncomfortable to us, believing, well, it's uncomfortable, therefore it's bad for me, it means we're becoming Superman. We're getting further and further away from our heart. And therefore, we feel emptier, less whole, less satisfied with whatever job, relationship, or circumstances in our life. Yet if we can kind of take on a little bit more of the wisdom of the second half of life that says, if something's painful, it might mean that that's a part of you that's been separated from you. So our emotional sensitivity, as mundane and earthly and human as it seems, I believe the paradox of it is that is our greatest superpower that we can encounter.
Oh, I love that. I was just going to say greatest strength, but I love greatest superpower. I love it. That our emotional sensitivity is our greatest superpower. Go ahead.
But
Did I cut you off?
And I agree. The paradox of the word you use, strength. I believe our greatest strength will always be experienced by our human ego to be our weakness. So, gosh, I feel horribly afraid or ashamed. So my ego thinks that's weakness, yet perhaps the wisdom of our spirit self says, no, that's our greatest strength. But I love your use of the word strength there. I think it fits very well.
Oh, God, I'm glad. Well, it's so, but this is also where freedom lies, right? I mean, when you allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you truly feel, that's freedom. You know, and when you can feel it and express it, then you're truly free, and then the whole world changes. Everything starts to change from that. So it's so worth going there. Plus, you get to know yourself better, right? Like you actually truly get to know yourself, which is and then you feel connected again, which is a beautiful thing. And then you can in turn connect with other people and the world. So it's all very much interrelated. And I thank you so much for that was, I feel like we were in a little mini healing session here. We have 5 minutes left, and I want to make sure that people know how to reach you. If maybe you can mention your website and your YouTube channel and all your just phenomenal videos and your work and writing and anything else that you'd like to mention.
Absolutely. Well, if anybody's called to, I would be honored to have you connect with me. The first place I'd invite you to go is my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/awakenwithjp. And I'd invite you to subscribe. I've got new videos that come out anywhere between once and twice a week on a variety of self-growth, self-empowerment topics. And you can also jump onto my website, innerawakeningsonline.com. I've got an e-newsletter you can sign up for, and that'll be the gateway to learn about any kind of workshops, retreats, teleclasses, webinars I'm offering. And, it would be an honor to connect with all you listeners out there.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, JP. And then I also just wanted to mention again that I'm super excited that you've agreed to be one of our featured experts on Smash On, and I'm really excited about that. I'm so glad that one of my coworkers sent me your video, the How to Be Ultra Spiritual, and I was just like falling down laughing. It's so funny. And I just had like this epiphany of like how I just wanted to meet you, and I thought you were amazing. And so I'm really glad that my coworker sent me that video. Highly recommend checking it out. It's called How to Be Ultra Spiritual. All of your videos are fantastic, whether they're funny or serious or anything in between. And your writing is fantastic too. And then I'm super excited that you're going to be a featured expert on Smash On, which is like your local health and fitness community, and we're really helping people get offline and back into real life. Of course, online is great too, because that's where a lot of people do connect, and we have a lot of great communities on there. I know that you work through Skype, but there's nothing like the in-person connection too, and we really want to encourage people to connect with others and also themselves in whatever capacity. So I'm just super grateful to have met you, and I'm really glad that I did. I can't believe I haven't ran across your videos before, but better late than never. So it's just an honor to meet you, and I'm sure we'll be talking more in the future. So thank you so much for dropping by the studio today, JP, and it was just a real treat to have you here.
Well, you're welcome, Edie. I really appreciate you having me on, and for everyone listening, thank you for allowing me to be a little part of your day as Edie and I talk about life. It's probably my favorite topic.
Mine too. And I highly, highly recommend that you go check out JP's videos on YouTube. It's youtube.com Awaken with JP, and go ahead and subscribe as well, like he suggested, because you're not going to want to miss any one of them. They're so good. JP, thanks again, and you're welcome back anytime, and I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds great, Edie. Enjoy your day.
Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. You've been listening to The Wellness Coach on Blog Talk Radio. I'm your host, Edie Summers, and I really encourage you to go, again, check out JP's YouTube channel as well as his website, and come check us out on smashon.com. It's free to join. You can join your local neighborhoods and get to know one another. We have a lot of really amazing things going on Smash On, and we'd love to have you part of our health and fitness community. So thanks so much for listening, and I'll talk to you again really soon. Have a great day.